Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's topic. We're tackling something that every single developer, IT professional, and business leader knows they desperately need, but, well, secretly dreads. Yep, we're talking about documentation. But hey, don't tune out just yet, because today we're going to look at how modern tools and automation are literally making it painless to escape technical debt. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see how the days of manually typing out endless, mind-numbing code comments are finally behind us. So I want you to picture this nightmare scenario. A brand new software developer joins your team. They're eager, they're ready to code, and they just need a quick rundown on your product's inner workings. But there's a catch. Your lead developer, literally the only human on Earth who truly understands your legacy code base, is on a 2-week vacation in the middle of nowhere with zero cell service. So what happens next? Well, if you don't have the right documentation, everything just grinds to a total halt. Your new hire is completely paralyzed, institutional knowledge is trapped, and productivity absolutely plummets. This is the very real, very painful reality of an undocumented code base. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the IT documentation dilemma, then break down the 5 essential types of docs. After that, we'll check out the top software tools of 2025, trace the evolution of JSDoc, and finally, wrap up with automating using jsdoc-scribe. All right, starting with Section 1, the IT documentation dilemma. You know, for years, proper documentation has kind of been the missing puzzle piece in the software development lifecycle. When it's not there, it creates these massive bottlenecks. Every single time an employee spends hours hunting for a file or a developer has to reverse engineer code just to figure out what it does, your business is paying this invisible tax of technical debt. Natalia Tomchishin from Relokia hits the nail right on the head here. She says one of the biggest impacts of IT documentation has been in reducing downtime caused by issues that can be easily resolved with documentation. She points out that when their help desk can just pull up the docs, troubleshooting is incredibly fast. Proper documentation isn't just a chore, right? It's your ultimate tool for slashing downtime and making sure onboarding goes off without a hitch. Moving right along to Section 2, 5 types of documentation. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the resistance to documentation usually comes from just how much of it there is. It feels completely overwhelming. But we can actually organize this endless sea into 5 manageable buckets. First up, process documentation. So your project plans and test schedules. Second, product documentation, like instruction manuals and user guides. Third, technical documentation, which is absolutely crucial for developers who need API specs and data structures. Fourth is system documentation, detailing the overarching architecture and source code. And finally, end-user documentation, like the tutorials and troubleshooting guides your customers actually use. Breaking it down like this makes a healthy IT ecosystem feel a whole lot more achievable, doesn't it? Another really helpful way to look at this is by audience. Internal documentation is built purely to get your developers, engineers, and stakeholders completely aligned on the project objectives. It's for the people building the thing. External documentation, on the flip side, is designed to hold the customer's hand and guide them smoothly through the product journey. Both are absolutely critical, for sure, but they serve completely different audiences. That brings us to Section 3, top software tools of 2025. To really understand why investing in these tools matters, just look at this number, 91%. According to a global survey by Freshworks, 91% of consumers said they would prefer to use a self-service portal if it meets their needs quicker. I mean, your users actually want to help themselves. This completely proves that investing in documentation isn't just about keeping your developers happy, it is a vital customer-facing business investment. So instead of exhaustively listing every single app out there on the market, let's look at what I like to call the Heroes Tool Belt for 2025. For AI-generated guides, you've got tools like Scribe. You literally just hit Start Capture, do your normal workflow, and the AI automatically whips up a step-by-step guide with annotated screenshots. It is absolute magic for process docs. Then, for wiki-style collaboration, Confluence remains a total powerhouse for remote teams sharing knowledge in real time. And finally, for that heavy developer API and code documentation, tools like Apiary and Doxygen are just brilliant at extracting and designing documentation right from your source code. Let's get a bit more specific in Section 4, the evolution of jsdoc. Zooming in from those high-level tools right down into the developer trenches, we have jsdoc. This is a specialized markup language used specifically to annotate and document JavaScript code. It was heavily inspired by JavaDoc, but tweaked to handle JavaScript's super unique dynamic behavior. Basically, by writing these specific comments directly in the code, external tools can process them and automatically spit out beautifully formatted HTML documentation. Let's move through time and see how this builds, because developers have literally been fighting this documentation battle for a long time. Way back in 1999, the Netscape and Rhino project introduced a super early JSDoc HTML generator. Fast forward to 2001, and Michael Matthews writes the JSDoc PM system in Perl. A decade later, in 2011, the whole thing was completely refactored into JSDoc 3.0, running natively on Node.js. And today, it's evolved to offer native TypeScript support and tsdoc integration. It has been quite the journey of constant improvement. In practice, using JSDoc means typing out specific syntax every single day. For instance, the @param tag specifies a parameter, and you even put the data type inside curly braces. The @returns tag explains exactly what a function spits back out. And the @deprecated tag is super handy for marking old methods so new devs know to steer clear. It's incredibly powerful stuff, but manually typing these out for every single function, yeah, that gets tedious really fast.
And that perfectly sets up Section 5, Automating with jsdoc-scribe.
This is the climactic resolution to our documentation dilemma, bridging the gap between thorough docs and, let's be honest, developer fatigue. The old way meant manually typing out all those repetitive JSDoc comments we just looked at. It wastes precious coding time. And because people get tired, they inevitably skip it, which leads straight to technical debt. The new way? Using jsdoc-scribe. This automatically generates consistent JSDoc comment blocks for both JavaScript and TypeScript codebases. It does the heavy lifting for you. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why version 2.0 of jsdoc-scribe is such a massive game changer for code health. It brings way faster generation performance. Plus, it doesn't just handle simple functions. It has this smart parsing that natively supports classes, methods, interfaces, and variables. It parses complex modules effortlessly and gives you this incredibly clean, professional HTML output. If you're managing an open source library or a giant enterprise codebase, this kind of automation literally crushes technical debt. I absolutely love this quote from Chintan Goswami, the creator of jsdoc-scribe. He sums up the core value proposition perfectly. Less time writing comments, more time writing code. That is exactly what every developer on the planet wants, and it's absolutely what every project manager should want for their team too. You just automate the technical debt away so human talent can actually focus on real problem solving. So, what does this all mean for you? I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We've seen how tools, from Scribe for your process docs all the way down to jsdoc-scribe for your code annotations, are completely removing the friction from knowledge sharing. If modern AI and automated tools can essentially write your documentation for you, what incredible things will you and your team build with all the time you get back? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this sparked some curiosity and gave you some highly practical ways to optimize your workflow. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next one.